I think it'll. I mean, the pink ball plays relatively normal at this time of day, this time of light. I think the challenge will be how much of the test match is under lights, because obviously the sunset's quite early here, sort of 4 o'clock, 4:30, something around that. So I think that'll be the time when we'll see the pink ball come into play. And my experiences are only from watching on TV, and so that twilight hour, dusk, seems to do a little bit more. So I think that's going to be the exciting period of the test match. And that'll be the period of the test match where tactically teams might try a few different things. There's 1.5 sessions, I think, that will be like this. I think the wicket will be pretty good. And then that last session, last half of the second session will be very interesting in the pink ball. I think they're really excited. There's 4 fast bowlers who are very excited. So that's a nice thing. Bangladeshi fast bowlers don't get too excited that often. So I think there's coming to grips with the boards. You know, it's slightly different. SG pink ball. I think most guys' limited experiences have been around the Kookaburra one, but I think there's just excitement around it. Real optimism, big crowd. Obviously, a lot of interest from the amount of people that are here. So for us and you know, for the whole team, there's a real joy to be able to play in this first pink ball test. I think that question's answered in the previous test matches that have been played with the pink ball, and if I recall rightly, I might not be, the spinners haven't come into play as much. It has been about the seam bowlers, but I still think the spin bowlers play a big part in the nature of the game. So the first session, the first 2 sessions, I mean, spinners could really be important, and you know, both teams played 2 spinners in the last game, so they are important to the makeup of both sides. So I don't see teams going too far away from that, because ultimately, most times, majority of test matches, spinners are required at some stage throughout the game. I don't think so. From seeing the guys bowl so far, there's been no talk. They all enjoy the SG ball, full stop. So I think the SG ball in pink has still been easy to bowl with and enjoyable to bowl with for the spinners so far. Look, the selection's not for me, but I think the seamers did a great job in the last test match, Rahi and Eberdot, so they all come to the fore. And I think seeing games here in the past, the relayed wicket here over the last couple of years has definitely got a little bit more bounce. I see they warded the wicket and covered it again today, so I'm sure they don't want it to dry out. So look, I think the seamers, because of the pink ball, the under lights, are going to play a big part in this test match. Not necessarily. It could almost have a T20 atmosphere, a one-day atmosphere, because if there's a big crowd, obviously Indian players are so recognisable wherever they go, and Indian public really loves them. So Kohli walking out to bat's going to feel like a T20, or Rohit, and if those guys get going. So I think there's going to be an atmosphere that probably no player has played in test match conditions, and I think that brings another element to it. So there's so much to look forward to in this test match. Probably brings back nightmares for me. Indians have always been so dominant against overseas spinners. I think particularly the last 3 or 4 years, any spinner that's come to this part of the world has been put under a lot of pressure, and that's through the nature of the wickets, the expectation that the overseas spinners has to do a job, and also the skill that the Indian batsmen obviously have. So it's difficult being an overseas spinner coming over here, mainly because of the quality of batsmen. We saw that, the pressure that Mayank put our spinners under, Rahane, and so it's a tricky challenge. And when the wicket was as good as it was in indoor, there wasn't a lot to work with, and probably been similar here. So I don't think it's a case of overseas spinners coming here looking to dominate. It's to do your role as you would back home. So the economy rate, they're taking 2 for 60, 2 for 70 in the first innings, and then trying to see what the second innings presents you. I think that's the right way to go about it. I think it's a big part of Test cricket. I think the fact that there's going to be so many people here, you have to acknowledge how important that is. And I think the way that people manage their time is trickier. So if you can extend a Test match out into the night time, then it brings more and more people into it. And my experiences are only from watching pink ball Test match on TV, and I really enjoyed it. So look, I love the game of cricket. I love watching it. So I think it has a big part in the future, but it'll be balanced out with day tests as well.